number 33 goes up to 50. Add a little bit of throttle. This is my throttle on this aircraft. You can operate this thing two ways. You can either turn it like a volume dial on a stereo and add power, or I can squeeze this little lock button and push it in all the way, and that would be full power.
Oh yeah.
So you can operate this aircraft two different ways. It makes it very easy for training because you just need to do this to add power or take away power. As opposed to having to move your arm around when it's bumpy in the air.
Oh yeah.
You know, imagine you're controlling the throttle of a snowblower and you're going over crazy bumps. Your hand's going to move all over the place, right?
Yep.
So in this thing, that's why it gives you that option of turning that. So we're almost there. We're at 42 degrees. Yeah, it's always very important to make sure your engine's warmed up sufficiently before takeoff. So you don't have any issues with like overheating that thing really quick and potentially seizing that cylinder around the piston.
Oh. In other words, that sort of brings it up.
Yeah.
Each one even.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering why they sit there and idle.
Yep, that's what it is. You want that engine to be nicely, thoroughly, all the same temperature, at least warm enough that it can handle full throttle.
Yeah.
So I apologize once again that it's very hot in here, but we'll get that taken care of shortly.
Well, that's okay. I understand.
Alright, so I now have 50 degrees. So what I'm going to do is what we call an engine run-up. I'm going to throttle this engine up to 4,000 RPM, and I'm looking at this RPM gauge right there. So give or take, I'm at 4,000 RPM, and right now I'm going to test to make sure both sparking systems are operating properly. I'm isolating one, shutting one off, going back to both of them on. Now I'm going to isolate the other one. So once again, that shows that we have redundancy. If one fails, the other one is working. They're both working properly.
Oh, that's good.
Yep.
That's
extra safety.
Yeah. A lot better than some of the old ones then.
Oh yes. Okay, so right now all I'm going to do is I'm going to make a radio announcement to let other planes in the area know that we're about to sit on this runway.
Edenvale traffic, SportStar, India, Juliet, Kilo Yankees, backtracking 08 to hold short of 13.
So Don, I'm going to show you how much motion I'm going to need with this control stick just to do the takeoff, around that much. So as long as you're not blocking that, we're going to be fine.
Oh, okay.
So right around there is what I'm going to need for motion. Shortly after takeoff, I'm going to have to reach down to this lever right here between us. This is our flaps.
Oh,
for takeoff, we want to have 15 degrees of flaps in this aircraft. That's where it's sitting now. Once we get off the ground safely, I'm going to lower it down to nothing, so we have no flaps anymore.
Oh, okay.
The flaps help the wing, well, it makes the wing larger to the surrounding air and gives you safer flight at a slower airspeed. So that's why we use them, and it helps us get the wheels off the ground a little faster. Okay, so I'm just looking. I don't see anybody coming into land over here. They would be landing in this direction. So that means I'm going to make another radio announcement. We're going to taxi on that runway there, turn around, and we're ready to go.
Edenvale traffic, Juliet, Kilo Yankees, backtracking 13.
So is there any particular area you'd like to go fly over?
No, I just thought maybe east, you know, like, what is it, towards Midland?
Yeah, we can go that way. Northeast, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because I used to be out in northern Collingwood.
Okay.
The other side. Years ago, I had a timeshare out there.
Okay. All right, here we go, sir. There's no radio control tower at this airport, so the pilot can leave whenever we're ready, and I'm ready now.
Okay.
So we're both secure in our seatbelts, everything looks good, engine temperatures are perfect, everything's operating perfectly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to accelerate this plane to full power. I'm going to steer it with my feet while I'm on the ground. This controls our nose wheel that's sitting on the ground. If I push my left foot down, the nose wheel turns left. And if I push it down this way, it turns right.
Oh, yeah.
Once the plane has enough speed, I'm going to gradually pull back on this control stick to get us airborne. We're going to climb out to about 1,000 feet over the ground, maybe 1,300 feet over the ground. Then I'll do a left turn towards Wasaga Beach. And the closer, whenever we get out near the water there, I'll start walking you through how to control this thing, okay?
Okay.
All right, so let's do this.
Edenvale traffic, Juliet Kilo Yankees on the roll, 13.
So soon we're going to get some cold air coming in there.
Yep, I can feel it right now.
Good. And we're off the ground.
Oh, yeah. That were quick.
Yeah. Yeah, these light planes with, this has a decent power to weight ratio for horsepower.
Yep.
Got 100 horsepower in a plane that only weighs 724 pounds when it's empty. Whew. So right now we're probably 1,100 pounds with you and I and fuel in here.
Yep. Oh, that's why you're saying, like with the winds, high winds and that.
That's right, yep.
Edenvale traffic, Alpha Uniform Mike is 5 miles to the east of the airport at 3,000 feet. We're going to overfly the field on our way to Collingwood.
Okay. So that's the other one that's going to land.
Yeah. I'm going to make a radio announcement so he knows we're up here and he avoids us.
Yeah, okay.
And Edenvale traffic, Juliet Kilo Yankee is airborne off of 13 with a left turn out towards Wasaga Beach, climbing to 2,000 feet.
You okay with heights, Don?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Good for you.
Approaching.
There's our nice cool air. You can aim that at yourself, move it around until it makes it comfortable for you.
So now you don't need as much power, right?
Exactly. I reduced my power now because we've reached 2,000 feet above sea level.
Yeah.
So we're roughly 1,300 feet over the ground. This is a nice height because you can still recognize things on the ground. If we start going too high, it's hard to recognize what you're looking at when you look down.
Oh, yeah. I know, the first time I, excuse me, flew in a plane.
Yeah.
I had to tell the stewardess there, maybe it's just, the wings I think are falling off because they're flapping.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
The bird. I always like at the window because then you can look down and...
That's right. Yeah, that's part of the big joys of flying.
Yeah.
Looking at the world from above. So right now we're kind of blessed. The air is very smooth right now.
Yeah.
A lot of times on these summer days, as it starts getting warmer, it gets more turbulent and bumpy. But right now we have it made in the shade right now. This is nice.
Yeah. It's like I thought that was like little air vents.
They actually are. They're putting out a little bit of air. What they're used for in the winter time is for defrost.
Oh, yeah.
Edenvale traffic, Alpha Uniform Mike is 1 mile to the east of the field at 3,000 feet for overflying on our way to Collingwood.
Okay, I'm just going to switch radio stations so we can monitor the planes that are going to be flying in this area.
Okay.
And Edenvale traffic, Juliet Kilo Yankees, clear your zone to the north at 2,000 feet en route to Wasaga Beach.
Nice visibility from up here. You can see Blue Mountain off to the left there.
Yep.
Over in this direction is Midland, where you can see the water off in the distance.
Oh, yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah. Perfect. You see all the little,
Yeah,
the whole community.
absolutely.
About years ago, taking flying lessons.
Yeah,
Yeah. Just never got to it.
yeah.
Always something else. Oh, gotta do this. Do that.
Well, you'll be flying this thing in a few minutes here. Actually, this is a good time to start showing you. So, if you want to take your left hand and put your left hand gently on that. No, put your left hand, yeah. Because you need your right hand eventually to control all this other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Now, for today, I'll worry about the throttle for today because it's just a brief flight, and I want you to really feel the control stick. I just want you to feel what it's like to steer an aircraft. We're going to do a few things. You're going to walk through with me a turn, and we'll do 2 different turns, and then eventually we'll climb and descend this plane. So right now, you'll see the stick is relatively sitting itself right in the middle there.
Yeah.
It's flying level without us touching it. So if I want to take this plane and start turning it to the right, we're just going to do a gentle pull this way. Feel that?
Oh, yeah.
See how the plane's banking?
Yep.
As the bank starts increasing, it's going to turn tighter and tighter. So that's when we can either stop the turn by pushing it back in this direction. There we are, we're back to level again. And if we want to turn left, we're just going to push the stick to the left a little bit like that.
Yep.
You can see that it's banking.
Oh, yeah.
Calling traffic, Alpha Minutes, clear the active. Back to the run-up area.
We'll do a little bit of a right turn here. Are you feeling the way that stick is just barely moving?
Yep.
So if we want the turn to stop, we just push it back in this direction. That's it. So now that we're flying nice and level again, I'll show you how we climb this thing. We're just going to take the stick and pull towards us a little bit. You'll see that. You'll see the nose come up.
Yep.
And right now we have confirmation that we're climbing because you can see that altimeter starting to go up.
Yep. When we do
Calling with traffic.
What's that?
whenever I start climbing, it sounds like the motor's picking up speed.
Yeah, it's a load on the engine.
Oh, yeah.
So I added a little bit of power to help it climb.
Yeah.
What I watch when I'm doing a climb, or what we watch as pilots, is we watch our airspeed. As long as this plane's not going below 60 knots, it's very safe. So as I pull back on this control stick, you'll notice it's going to start slowing down. See that? It's going to 69. Oh. So what I would have to do is add some power to help it climb.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Now she's climbing nicely.
And then if it gets below 60, it could possibly stall.
Well, this plane stalls at 38, but there's always factors that can increase that speed. So 60 is our safe limit. We don't want to go below that and tease the stall.
Yeah.
So as long as we're above 60, this thing's never going to surprise you with a stall. So right now I'm just going to level it off right there. We're at 2,500 feet now.
Yeah.
And if we want this plane to descend, we're just going to push the stick forward a little bit. Just like that. You can see how the nose is coming down.
Yep.
You'll notice the airspeed is increasing because we're going down.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the throttle.
Call uniform Mike is at 2,000 feet, 2 miles to the east of the field, descending to 1,700 for the straight in downwind for runway 13.
So as we're going down, I don't need this power anymore. I'm just going to reduce it. You'll notice that this is slowly descending.
Yep. I was just watching it there.
Yeah. So right here is good, 2,300. I'm going to pull back on that stick to level it off here. Add a little bit of power so it cruises nicely. Now the plane's flying safely level again. So Don, if you want to give it a try, feel free to take that control stick and move it around, play with it. See what it does. I'm going to keep my hand close by so nothing bad's going to happen. Feel free to turn the aircraft, move it around, and get used to what that stick does. There you go.
traffic, all call from Mike is established on downwind for runway 13.
Very nice. It is very touchy.
Yeah.
Calling traffic, going off 3 limit, moving into position 13.
Very nice.
Very good, yeah.
And if you feel like you want to climb a little bit, try pulling back towards you and see what happens. There you go.
Oh, it just
Doesn't take
barely moved it.
That's right. Doesn't take much.
Calling traffic, off that 2, roll 13.
So when we're flying relatively fast, the control motions on this stick are very gentle.
Yeah.
If we're going slower, you can imagine, just like in a car, you have to steer a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
So when we come to land this thing, this stick might be a lot crazier, might be all over the place, especially if we're dealing with winds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But right now the air is very, very stable, so it's not taking much motion on that control stick at all.
Calling with traffic, call Singapore Mike, turning final, runway 13, stop go.
Yeah, you want to at least keep it at 2,000.
Yeah, we'll keep it at least to 2,000. The reason why we do that is just a margin of safety. In the event if this engine failed, we want to be able to glide back safely to ground on a nice field. And if we're too low, we run out of time to do that and options.
Oh, yeah.
But up here at this altitude we're at, if our engine were to die, we're going to make it to those fields no problem and just land her down.
That's the pleasures of light plane.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't need much landing distance. How's it feeling so far on that control?
Super.
Excellent. So there's
Like
the
I'm
town.
barely moving it.
Exactly. There's the town of Midland right over here. It's hard to see the town. There's Penetang, that little lake there. It's actually the bay that comes into Penetang Machine. And over to the right here is Midland, but it's kind of below the hill, so we can't really see the structures.
Oh, okay.
So why don't you take this thing and try to turn us back into the direction we came from? Make it a little more challenging for you.
Okay. Wait, that way?
Sure. Yeah, come towards land. That way it's a lot easier to see the ground. If you go out that way, you might lose your course because the water is blue and the sky is blue.
Mike is backtracking,
There you go.
for takeoff.
Leaving altitude.
Very nice.
Traffic, off that in the downwind, we'll be departing straight up the downwind from the shoreline. Okay.
Nice turn, Don. Very smooth. You're in a little bit of a climb, but that's fine. That's the tricky thing, right? Is to learn how to turn without climbing or descending.
Yeah.
That's usually where we spend about an hour and a half to 2 hours with the students in the beginning to practice flying level, like not gaining or losing altitude. I don't expect you to master it in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Boss, just with a touch.
Yep.
Please take off with a short delay.
So we came from roughly that direction over there.
Oh.
just to give you an idea of our bearing, where we're at. This is down here is Woodland Beach.
Oh yeah.
About flying in this area here in Ontario, this is all uncontrolled airspace. So we're allowed to fly at any altitude we really want. Any direction, any altitude. We don't need permission from a tower. So it's really nice. You can just soar around and do whatever you like. You just got to keep your eyes open looking for other planes.
Calling with traffic, Golf Uniform Mike is airborne, runway 13.
So we're going to go in that direction, Don. It's very hard. You can't see the airport from here, but that's the way we're going to go.
Oh, okay. But you know where you are.
Yeah, I'll let you know. Right around here. If we go straight in this direction, we'll end up at the airport.
Just straight like this?
Yeah, straight like this. But if you want to play with the aircraft and turn a little bit on the way, please do. The whole purpose of this flight is to really give you a chance to fly and see what it's like to control it.
Yeah. Wow.
So what we're feeling right now, feel those little bumps? That's just turbulence.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was just me.
Nope, that's not you at all. So what we do is we just fight it. When you feel it pushing you a certain way, you fight against it.
Yeah.
So if it starts lifting your left wing up, you just push it back down.
Oh.
Calling with traffic, Golf Uniform Mike is clear of the circuit at 1,700 feet. We're heading southeast to Stayner, where we're going to climb to 5,500 and then travel northeast to Muskoka.
So this is completely normal for summertime. When we get over top of the land, the thermals, that's what that is, thermal air coming up, gets more violent. When it's over the water, the sun's absorbed by that water and it doesn't bounce that hot air up.
Oh.
So that's why it was very smooth when we were over the water, but once we get over the land, we're starting to feel the effects of the sun heating the earth.
Oh. So that's why we feel the bumps.
Yep. So what pilots generally do, if we were going a far distance to fly somewhere, we would just climb up higher to avoid these because they're lower to the ground.
Oh,
we just keep climbing until they stop, and then we'll pick that altitude and fly at it. So on a day like
you're going a distance, so then
yeah, like if we were doing a flight from here to Ottawa, we'd probably go up to 4,000 feet or so.
Yeah.
Maybe 5,000 or 6,000 feet, depending on where those thermals are and where they stop.
That's when you have to let other people know where you're at or what you're doing.
Exactly, yep. Yeah, once you get above 3,000 feet over the ground, you have to fly at certain altitudes. But that gets a little complex and confusing for a beginner, so... But we're not up in those altitudes, so we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Leaving altitude.
I'm at 2,100.
That's great. Yeah, later in the day, like around 2 and 3 o'clock, they get so bad in here that you can be coming out of your seat because it gets so bumpy in here. Yeah, it gets quite violent, and it does a number on your stomach because if you have a weak stomach, it'll really rattle you and get you airsick.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so thankfully our flight is early today, so it's not that bad yet.
Calling with traffic, RV7 Golf Alpha Delta Kilo is 10 to the west, 5,500. Inbound for the overhead, mid-left 13 calling with.
the airport we took off from is it's over there, but you're flying in the right direction. We have to enter what they call the traffic pattern or the circuit in order to land. We're not allowed to just come in and land at a runway. We have to land at the same runway we took off in because that's the way the wind was blowing.
Yep.
And we have to enter into this imaginary highway that's in the air above the airport that sort of looks like a rectangle if you were looking at a map. So we're going to come a little bit this way. And eventually we're going to turn the plane directly right towards the airport. We're going to fly with the runway off our left wing. And we're going to lower this plane down to 1,700 feet, but not yet. So just keep this direction for now. I'm going to make a radio announcement and let the other pilots in the Edenvale Airport know what we're doing.
Okay.
Edenvale traffic, SportStar India Juliet Kilo Yankee. Yankee is at 2,200 feet, approximately 5 miles northeast of the field. Inbound for landing, going to descend to circuit height and join us straight in downwind, 13.
Pretty smooth now.
It's very smooth, yeah. Off in the distance there, you can see that's Lake Simcoe.
Oh, yeah? Whenever you want, you can always just fly over there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of the joys of flying. You can get somewhere pretty quick.
Yeah.
Very free. It's a freeing experience up here. Peaceful.
And you just see everything better.
Yeah.